Yes, morning, students. Are you ready to learn about modern art?
Yes!
Let's tackle about Impressionism and Expressionism as one of the emerging art movement in the modern art. Objectives. These are what you will be able to know after completing the lesson in the supplementary learning module. First, analyzes art elements and principles in the production of work following a specific art style from the various art movements. Next, identifies distinct characteristics of art from the various art movements. Derive the mood, idea, or message from the selected artworks. And lastly, determine the role or function of artworks by evaluating their utilization and combination of art elements and principles. Now, let's have a recap. What are the elements of art? Elements of art are the basic elements that are used by the artist in creating art. They are what you use to create an aesthetically pleasing work. When we make art, we need to understand and apply these 7 elements of art. First, we have line, a mark made by a pointed tool such as brush, pen, or sticks, or what we call a moving point. Next, we have shape, a flat, enclosed area that has 2 dimensions, length and width. Number 3, color, the most dominant elements. It is created by light. There are 3 properties of color: hue, value, and intensity. Number 4, the value, degrees of lightness or darkness. Number 5, form, objects that are 3-dimensional having length, width, and height. Number 6, texture, describe the feel of an actual surface. The surface quality of an object can be real or implied. And lastly, space. Space can be 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional, negative, and or positive. Now, what is modern art? Modern art is the art movement of the late 19th century to the 20th century, captured and expressed all this and more. Specifically, these were the movement known as Impressionism and Expressionism. What is Impressionism? Impressionism, it was an art movement that emerged in the second half of the 19th century among a group of Paris-based artists. The duration of the Impressionist movement itself was quite short, less than 20 years from 1872 to the mid-1880s. The center of the art for Impressionism art was in Paris, France. What are the characteristics of Impressionism art? First, we have color and light. In Impressionism art, the color and light are short and broken strokes, pure unmixed color side by side, and freely brushed colors convey visual effects. Next, we have everyday subjects. Everyday subjects like scene of life, household objects, landscapes or seascapes, houses, cafes, and buildings. Next, we have painting outdoors. Impressionism artists, previously still lifes, portraits, and landscape were painted inside the studio. The Impressionists found out they could best capture the ever-changing effects of light on color by painting outdoors in a natural light. And lastly, open composition. Open composition, Impressionist painting also moved away from the formal, structured approach to placing and positioning their subjects. Who are the well-known Impressionists? First in the list, we have Claude Monet. Claude Monet is the true pioneer of the Impressionists. He was constantly exploring what do I see and how do I record it in painting. Monet had a long-lasting fascination in observing and painting light and nature. Some of Monet artworks are water lilies, sunrise, bridge over a pond of water lilies, and irises in Monet garden. Next one, we have Pierre-Auguste Renoir. Pierre-Auguste Renoir was born on 1841 and died on 1919. Along with Claude Monet, he was one of the central figures of the Impressionist movement. His early works were snapshots of real life, full of sparkling color and light. By the mid-1880s, however, Renoir broke away from the Impressionist movement to apply more disciplined, formal technique to portrait of actual people and figure paintings. Some of Renoir artworks are Luncheon of the Boating Party and Dancer. After Impressionism, here comes Post-Impressionism, and the most popular artist is no other than Vincent van Gogh. Vincent van Gogh was born on 1853 and died on 1890. He was a post-impressionist painter from the Netherlands. His work were remarkable for their strong heavy brushstrokes, intense emotions, and color that appeared to almost pulsate with energy. Popular painting of Vincent van Gogh, Starry Night. Let's move on to another art movement in the modern art. We have Expressionism. What are the features of Expressionism? First, we have distorted, exaggerated, subjective, and full of emotions. In the early 1900s, there arose in the Western art world a movement that came to be known as Expressionism. Expressionist artists created works with more emotional force rather than with realistic or natural images. To achieve this, they distorted outlines, applied strong colors, and exaggerated forms. They work more with their imagination and feelings rather than with what their eyes saw in the physical world. And the most popular and significant painting in the Expressionism was The Scream by Edward Munch. And the other Expressionism art are the following. Sum up our lesson, here are the difference between Impressionism and Expressionism. In Impressionism, most of the artwork are objective, while in Expressionism, it is subjective. The center of the art for Impressionism was in Paris, France, while in Expressionism, it was in Europe. Features of Impressionism are more on sceneries, while in Expressionism, it is more on emotion, distorted, and exaggerated. The prominent artists in Impressionism are Claude Monet and Auguste Renoir, while in Expressionism, we have Edward Munch. That's all for today, and thank you for watching. I hope you learned something from our lesson.